It's the Solar One Sci-Fi Podcast.
Hello and welcome to this week's Solar One Sci-Fi Podcast. And we're at episode 201 after the big party we had last week. And down below is my Blake Seven brother, Malcolm. You've done well.
Excellent, thank
background. You. Over in the far corner is the bad boy, the one who's denied it for over a year.
No, 5 years.
Out of every excuse not to watch it, but has finally watched it.
Some of it, a quarter of it.
A quarter of it. I present to you, Michael Ball.
Hello, sir. Hello. That song is in my bloody head. I've watched so many
we need that music to come
No,
in
copyright,
now,
copyright. I don't want some twat getting money off our channel. How are you doing, guys?
All good, all good.
Oh, good.
What's been happening in your end? I mean, obviously we're going to talk about Blake 7. That's going to be the focus. But what's happening? The clocks have gone back, so it's pitch black now at 5:15. As I look outside, which is horrible. Nothing much in the sci-fi news I've come across.
Actually, I heard that they're looking at remaking Blue Thunder.
Oh, no. Blue Thunder! I've not seen it. Wasn't that like I remember. I know it was a helicopter thing, wasn't it? A movie, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I saw it long
TV series was not so good.
Oh, because I think of I always mix that up with Airwolf for some reason.
Airwolf,
which was epic.
Airwolf would shit all over Blue.
Ernest Borgnine was in it, and I like him in lots of
I kind of had this row with somebody quite recently on Facebook where they go, no, Blue Thunder had that Gatling gun. And I said, yeah, Airwolf had missiles. He'd blow it out of the sky before he even shows up on the radar.
Yeah. And Airwolf could travel at Mach 1.
Yeah. Not entirely sure how that works, but yeah, it could.
All these great theme tunes of these shows as well. I mean, it's like, yeah. It really
Airwolf had a better theme tune than Blue Thunder.
I don't remember the Blue Thunder.
Yeah. Blue Thunders. It was pretty grim, really. It was lots of kind of sounds, all that sort of stuff.
So
Derby in it, no? Pre Wayne's World.
Yeah,
Blue Thunder could be coming back. Yes, I don't know.
No, everything's coming back, isn't it? And they're listening to sort of like they keep going back to shows and films. I mean, I still want Space 2099. I'd like to see that.
You can't. Space 2099 but totally impractical to make.
Why?
Why? Well, a fucking moon just floating through space.
Well, it might be. Maybe there's maybe it's stuck in a temporal vortex or something, and it's kind of cruising by planets and all right. And look, who cares? It was great. Space 1999 was good, even though it was pants kind of scientific.
I liked it, but I just don't think you can pull that concept off now.
How about a live action Terrorhawks?
Oh yeah,
Terrorhawks live action. Terrorhawks it was watchable at the time, but.
No, UFO.
I prefer Space 1999 to UFO.
I've only ever seen the pilot episode of UFO. I've never watched the rest.
And Martin got me to see it. I quite liked it.
I'm very proud of you at the moment. I think what you've done this week, you have surpassed yourself.
Well,
for what you sacrificed this week.
No, it was good. I mean, I'm going to give you my full kind of.
And we cancelled Alien Romulus for this.
Are we still doing that? Have we now talked it through, or what?
I think you still need to do one.
You still think? I mean,
right. 2 minutes on Alien Romulus.
Well, Malcolm,
you go first.
No, next week. We'll do it next week. We'll do a proper one next week.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, I think it's still worth one. If you think so, Malcolm, and if you're okay,
all right, that's right.
All right, okay, fair enough. What else? Yeah, so like I said, I mean, Martin's got me to see quite a few. Most stuff I've shown or we featured, you've seen already, Martin. There's a few things that you've not seen that I've recommended. But most of the stuff that I've told you about, you've quite enjoyed, haven't you? I think.
At least I watched it though, didn't I?
What?
I watched it. When you said, "Can you watch it?" I've watched it, haven't I?
Yeah.
I'm just saying that's all.
Incredible Hulk, of course. I mean, Incredible Hulk.
Yeah, well, I'm not watching that. I refuse to watch that. He wears sandals, green ones.
Yeah, and you like Batman versus Superman, so there we are. I always. How many times have we had this counter argument about those two bloody entities, haven't we? Every single time.
Well, all right then. Yeah, watch She-Hulk.
No, I watched 2 episodes and that was shite. I couldn't bear that thing. That was god awful. Did you like that, Malcolm? I can't remember what you said about that.
I liked her. I didn't like the stupid campiness of it. I thought it was all. I think they could have done better. They were trying too hard to be like the comic and break the fourth wall, and it was just stupid.
Yeah.
It could have been a lot better. I had nothing against her or any of the cast really. No. I just think it was badly carried out.
They seem to be doing that with a lot of these sort of things at the moment, and musicals, isn't it? How many times we've talked about most of these things of having a musical episode like Strange New Worlds.
Oh, Nautilus! I'm watching it tonight. I'm going to start tonight.
You were supposed to start Friday.
No, I had to go. So I went to see The Apprentice.
The Apprentice, is that still on? What with that? What's it called? With that Alan Sugar thing? Is it still on?
No. Trump about.
Oh, the American. Oh, sorry. I think it meant that you went to see.
I had to go Sunday, and I had to go out Saturday for a minute. So.
Okay. I thought you were in the audience where they film The Apprentice with Donald Trump with Shearer.
It was interesting. It was interesting, but it was like the first stages of his life in the 80s. It was set in that, and it was a nasty piece of work.
I think most people have kind of gathered that. I reckon.
And I could not believe that it was Sebastian Stan playing him.
Yeah, I don't know what was he like. Did he play him well?
Yeah, I didn't recognise him. When I saw credits at end, it said Sebastian Stan. That's the dude that plays the Winter Soldier. I thought that in him, and it wasn't. He looked bloody good. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know the thing
like him.
Yeah, well, I mean,
it was enjoyable. I mean, it was very 80s like environment. It was all about him starting up at the beginning. It was interesting.
Yeah, so, I mean,
I do recommend it.
Yeah, I have something else I saw. I can't remember if I'm going to share it with you guys, but what was it? Oh, it was something. I don't know. It was something. I did see something this week.
Have you both seen Nautilus? I know you have, Malcolm. Have you?
No. So give us a Nautilus. Isn't that the? What's that from? Isn't that the
Captain Nemo?
Captain Nemo. So is it good? What's it like? Like it?
Yeah, I enjoyed it. True to form, like I said, the internet is awash with people complaining that it's an Indian character.
Well, it was Indian in the book, Malcolm.
The first book, it never mentions one way or the other. Some people thought he was Polish. The second book, he's 100% Indian.
Yeah,
his name is Prince Dakar, 100%.
Right.
And then people were going, oh, but he's rich, and other people were going, no, but he was in a penal colony, and he built Nautilus. Because they're based on the trailer gives the impression he steals it, which he does. But he also designed it, and people are saying he's supposed to have built the Nautilus, and he actually does. Yeah. He's just got funding off of someone else, and then he nicks it off of them. Basically, that's without giving too much away. Yeah, it's enjoyable. It's a romp, man. That
all comes out in the second book in Mysterious Island, doesn't it? In the second book.
See, unfortunately, no one seems to know about a second series because Disney dropped it before it was made. Yeah. Really? But it's not being made. But it was never being made by Disney anyway. It's made by another company. So Amazon Prime bought it, and they screened it instead. So who knows whether there'll be a second series or not.
I hate it when these shows get messy.
I do. I got hold of the Michael Caine one, the 6-hour one, and if you can get hold of it, I got it off Amazon years ago. It's worth watching. It's a whole different spin on it. It's quite interesting.
I finally got hold of The Boys season 1. I'm going to give that a watch because I've never seen The Boys, and everyone seems to talk about it all the time. So
it's good. It is good.
Yeah. So I think that might be worth a check out. So
definitely.
But obviously that'll be after Black 7. That Black 7 is my next kind of focus for the next 10 months while I get through them, and then we'll be looking at it.
I think you've done well. Honestly, you deserve not a golden toilet, but a platinum toilet award for.
Yeah, but don't forget with our Christmas special, the golden toilet for the duds. And Malcolm, I think, said we need an alternative award for something which is good. So what? A latinum toilet or no? Latinum what? A latinum?
I don't know.
No, gold press.
A diamond encrusted
beer glass.
Yeah, we've got the
or
two
remote
things.
control.
We need something that's memorable, don't we? Something that
the golden toilet is perfect for the bad stuff, but we've got to think of something. And then I'll do AI image of it because that one I did was fine. So, anything else before we go into the focus of the week?
No, I started looking at Dark Matter again, tromping through that again, and I've managed to acquire Killjoys, but I've only ever seen the first episode of that, so I quite fancy to watch that.
Dark Matter, is that the original Dark Matter or the new Dark Matter? Because there's two series with the same name now.
Yeah, the Apple TV have got a new thing that's completely. So I'm talking about the
original one. Okay, the older one. Yeah. Okay, that's
I tried to watch Winona Earp again, but again, it's just the first episode so bad I couldn't struggle watching the second one. Agatha all along, I'm trying to plow through it, but I just can't really get into it.
I quite like it.
I'm honest.
Have you heard of something called Three Body Problem?
Yeah,
it's supposed to be brilliant.
I thought I'd check that out as well. There's another one on the list. So if you guys have both heard of that, I'm going to give that a watch as well.
I've seen that. Plays it so next year.
Was it any good, Martin, from what you saw of it?
It's highly intelligent. Yeah,
it looked good from the trailer.
It's based on a Chinese science fiction writer, which makes it more interesting.
It's actually based on the unsolvable three body problem, the fishing problem.
Yeah, and what is it? The dark forest situation as well. The alien races are hiding from each other. That's why there's no contact.
Okay.
Not good to advertise yourself.
Okay, sounds good.
It's very clever. It takes a bit to get into it. It's very political.
But it's only like 6 episodes. It's not that long a season.
By episode 3, I couldn't turn it off. I got into it quite late, and I was blown away by it.
Okay, brilliant. All right.
We'll put very quick at this point. You want to put your drinking responsibly fucking thing down in the corner.
Especially when you've got a can of Foster's like you've got there. All right, guys, are you ready? That's all right. I sometimes I have a can of Stella in the side, but I don't normally. But yeah, well, the hell, it's that time of day anyway. Let's go to our focus of the week, shall we, guys? Here we go.
Mm-hmm.
It's the
Solar Sci-Fi
focus of the week.
All right, so this week we are focusing on a show from, I think it's 1978, from the BBC. It's certainly a well-known show. It's a show I very, very vaguely remember, but watching the first season, which I've done because I'm a person who's committed to this podcast, it brought back a lot of memories. Of course, I did remember the last episode. Who didn't remember the last episode? But, yeah, I mean, you guys have seen all of it, so I won't know all of the story, but... let me start off with my perspective so far, and then you can chime in with what you think. Obviously, you guys both like it. It took about 2 or 3
I have a question.
Okay, go on.
What made you go beyond episode 4? You were chosen 4 episodes to watch. That's it.
I didn't think it was enough to actually warrant a review. I liked it at that point, but even episode 4, by episode 4, the team had finally gotten the Liberator, all 7. Obviously, it's the 7 with the computer as well. And they were just starting to go against the Federation, the teaming up. It was. I mean, I think I've learned quite a lot from it, and I like the idea of this kind of. The Federation are a bit like a Star Wars sort of Imperial army, like an empire kind of thing, and they're ruling Earth. And these people are like they're fighting for freedom, from what I gather, and there's all sorts of dodgy stuff. And I mean, I've got questions for you guys, but yeah, so far I watched the first season. I got to the episode where we finally see Aurak, who I remember as a kid as well, the scientist the old scientist he had like his circuit board on his chest, and he had like 5 hours to live, and he died about 10 minutes before he got his the power to keep him going or something. And he was, was watering his plants. He had his fish and everything, and Servalan and all the other characters. Yeah, I liked it. By the end of the season, I kind of thought, yeah, this is settled down now. It's a regular thing although it's an arc, it's kind of like, they've got these problems that they've got to focus on, and they're trying to free people, and they're trying to get things. They're trying to kind of dismantle the Federation from within and make them unstable. That's my opening assessment of it, and I did quite like it so far. So how do you, Martin, obviously you're the one that got me into it first of all, so what do you think about
it? I thought it was a masterpiece of science fiction. I really did.
When did you first get into it?
I saw it when it first came out on TV. He does. I remember I saw the first episode where he gets accused. I mean, it's quite heavy what they accuse him of.
Yeah, but I've got some questions about
And-
the initial episode because I actually watched episode 1 twice because I really wanted to get into it. And Blake had his memories wiped,
Yeah,
but he also had some memories wiped, so he revealed some information. But from what I gather, he's still got a lot of his memories wiped. Is that
yeah,
correct? Is that something which looked into further on?
He led a movement to bring democracy, like some kind of freedom movement, and it was such a threat. He was that people follow him. You get into this dynamic, especially between him and Avon, and they're screwed with his mind. They couldn't kill him because they'd make him a martyr. And then when he went to that meeting in first episode, they accused him of being a child molester, didn't they?
That's right. I was quite surprised about that. That was very interesting.
At 7:30 on a Monday night.
I know.
And they accused him of that. And I
was surprised by that myself. I was surprised by that.
Because I didn't watch it for years. And when videos finally turned up and started showing it on UK, what is Gold?
UK Gold or whatever it is, yeah.
It was in there and I thought, bloody hell, I was a kid when I saw it. And they accused him of that. And then you see the barbarity of the people that run this federation. Life's nothing. It's nothing. It's all about control. And the first episode, it gets you into it. And then second one, like Mr. Raker on the Cygnus, the London. But then just at the end of episode 2, there it is. Because it's beautiful, isn't it? It's just there floating. Yeah. And what a ship. That was your hook.
But we don't know where the ship came from, at least from season 1.
We do. We know who owned it and we know who created it. Because you're going to see them.
Is that something we're going to? Because I've not seen that yet. I don't think.
You see
next episode.
Oh God!
Season 2.
Oh bugger! I almost watched it, and I thought, no, I've got time for watching episode 1 of season 2.
It's the ship, and it's. I love the bridge. The bridge.
Yeah, I mean, Marcus got it behind him. Yeah, I saw that one. Yeah,
to build that bridge, they took money out of the whole budget.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. I can see a lot of Who influences. I mean, the last episode of season 1, there was this like lizard creature in this cave kind of thing, and it looked very Doctor Who monster-like, even though we didn't have a good look at it. And obviously, you've got a lot of the Doctor Who actors involved. And I saw a lot of familiar faces, a lot of it from Tom Baker era of Who and things like that. Malcolm, let's go to you. What is it that you liked about the show?
I love it. I think it's easily the best show ever made, sci-fi wise. I think it's brilliant. To have gone down the road of making the heroes villains, I think is brilliant. Obviously, heavily influenced by Robin Hood, but darker. They're a lot worse than it. At the time, it was said, the only show on TV where the heroes are real bastards. It was what they said about it. I can still remember. I mean, I was 5 years old when it came out. I still remember sitting down and watching it. I remember watching the first episode with my dad. I remember it like it was yesterday.
Really?
I love everything about it. And the flight deck, whenever they go onto the flight deck, when they first go on in, there's like bam, bam, bam.
Yeah.
And all that. It's even when I used to read the novel, where the point where they walk on the flight deck, I'd still hear that sound in my head and all that. It's just I think the show is amazing. It's just there's nothing that they didn't do wrong. It is a testament to how, if the show is good and the scripts are good, you don't really care about some of the more ropey special effects, which there are. The set, like you say, the flight deck for Liberator is exceptional, and the mod for Liberator's exceptional. The rest of it is a little bit ropey. But,
I noticed that some of the exterior shots, they could be better. I mean, I was sort of comparing it to the model shots from going back to Space 1999, which I thought were done better. Some of the planet shots are good, but I mean, I know that if I'd have watched it properly, I don't know why I bypassed it. I mean, I do remember flashes of episodes, but for some reason, I never watched it as much as every other show that we reviewed over these years. It's just one of those things that sort of bypassed me, but it is good. I mean, there are obviously influences like the teleporter from Star Trek, and it even has a little tiny switch that they flick a bit like the switch on the transporter in Star Trek, which I noticed. And that sound effect of the teleporter, I forgot about that sound, like a tambourine clattering. It came back to me when I watched the episode. I thought, oh God, I remember that. So I did watch. I don't know whether I watched all the episodes. I just remember the later ones. I remember that the Liberator gets destroyed at the end of season 3. I remember that really haunted me when I watched that as a kid. And obviously the last episode. And they had a different ship, I think, in season 4. But it's only flashes. And I think by then there were some different characters. I remember there's this guy with dark frizzy hair. I think there was another blonde woman as well. So I've got flashes of it. But I'm going through this quite blind. I've got about 10% recollection of this show from now to the end of it. So it's an interesting journey. So I think, once I get to the end of it, we'll have to have another feature on this. Not a proper whole show, but another 10-minute segment. So what else did you like about it, guys? Do you have a favourite character, or who stood out for you? Or go on, Martin.
It's the characters that Avon is like.
Avon's cool. Yeah, I like Avon.
Yeah, as a kid I hated Avon. As an adult, I absolutely loved him.
Yeah,
because his one-liners. Because it's interesting. Because Blake is a natural leader. He inspires.
Avon's like a natural opposition to his leadership.
Yeah.
That's what I've seen so far.
He comes out with the classic line. Show me. He says these things to him. Like a classic one is, "Show me an idealist, and I'll show you fools." And he comes out with these lines.
I've seen that already.
It's like him and Blake. There's this thing. I can't spoil season 2 because.
No, I'm sorry. I wish I could have seen more.
When you get there in your own time,
all right.
I really do envy you getting to sit through.
One of my favourite lines is of Avon is when Callie says, the saying amongst their people, he who trusts can never be betrayed. And Avon just goes, life expectancy must be pretty short amongst your people. It was that kind of.
He does have those one-liners, doesn't he?
Yeah. I remember he says to Villa once. He says, "You're all expendable," and Villa goes, "But what about you?" He says, "I'm not expendable, but you are."
yeah, that's it. Yeah. I'm not expendable. I'm not stupid, and I'm not going.
I quite like Villa actually, because he's slightly cowardly, but he's
I love Villa.
He's a good person, and he's obviously he can open doors and he can sort of get people out of trouble and things. I like his character. He's slightly cowardly, but who else is there? Obviously, there's Callie, who is a telepath, who we saw about episode 3 or 4. I think she wasn't in the first episode. Servalan, I remember Servalan. I still remember her from the 2 Doctors from Doctor Who. So the actress Jacqueline Pierce, is it? I think it is that plays her. I thought so far she's good. Travis, the character with the eye patch. I'm sure he must come to a sticky end because I don't remember him at all from the episodes I saw. Obviously, you can't tell me.
But Space Commander Travis, there were 2 actors that.
Oh no, was it a different actor that took over or something? Yeah. Oh, that's a shame. I didn't know that.
Yeah, a lot of people go like, oh, they changed the character completely.
Yeah,
but I kind of like the idea of the fact that he's gone away to this.
Spoilers.
Well, not really, but he's gone off to be retrained after the events of the last episode. So when he comes back, his character's completely different. I didn't really have a problem with it, but a lot of people do.
I'm going to say now, the Space Supreme Queen herself.
Yeah, I like her.
What a cool name. Servalan.
She reminds me a bit of Diana from V, actually, for some reason.
I think she's a lot worse than her.
Yeah, Diana's brilliant, but kind of a wish version of Servalan.
Yeah, but don't forget, you've seen more of. I don't know. She wasn't in the whole season of series 1. She's been in about 4 episodes, 4 or 5. So
yeah, well, they only brought her in for 1 episode, and then they kept her because she was such a hit.
What I like about Jacqueline Pierce, she's so good at it. She's so amoral in the character. That pulls off so well. And yet, when I've seen her in interviews, I know you've met her, Martin, but when I've seen her in interviews, she's polar opposite. She's like, I remember her being on Swap Shop, and she's kind of a bit ditzy, barely even understood what the show was about and all of that. And it's like, how did you play that character? It's amazing.
There's one scene with her where it's how she treats men. Like men are just disposable to her. They're just complete things.
They're just nothing. They're just tools for her.
And there's a scene where she walks into this meeting. She's got a big cape on, like birthing, and she's got two men with her. She just flings it on the floor.
Just drops it.
Shoulders. Yeah. And the two men just pick it up for her, like just pick it up for her. And she's like, you know what I mean? And I thought she was fantastic because how she treats Travis.
Yeah.
She just thinks he's an idiot.
Yeah.
You know, Travis is good, but this obsession with Blake, you know, it's.
No, it certainly is interesting. I mean, obviously now that I've realised that, I'll look out for the new Travis. I assume that it must happen in season 2, but we'll get another actor. But yeah, I liked his character a lot. It's a shame that he's not here, but then from further on. But you know, you had that in a lot of series where they get a different actor and you can adjust to it, so that'd be okay. Other characters, I liked all the characters. I think. I mean, I like what's the name of the computer? Is it Zach? Yeah, I thought that was quite a good character, even though it's just a robot. I remember the design of it again. It's weird how a lot of the memories of the show are coming back, but it's funny because I've watched so many BBC sci-fi shows so many times and know them through and through. This one bypassed me, which I'm surprised about. So yeah, I am glad I have checked it out. I mean, and it's how is it perceived by? I mean, obviously you two really, really rate it highly. I mean, is it generally perceived very highly from most people?
Yeah, it's huge following.
It was one of the shows that killed some of the leading characters, and it had cliffhangers at the end of each season.
Okay,
which I think it's probably the first show to ever do that, to end a season on a cliffhanger. I don't think anybody did it before that.
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah,
and also you got to think about it was a long time back. I mean, do you think it was influenced from other sort of big sci-fi shows at the time? Like some people said it was a bit like a British Star Trek. I can't see that being particularly.
No, I think Robin Hood is clearly the influence of it.
Okay,
100%.
Well, do you remember the 18? Do you remember when that started? They were all like outlaws, weren't they?
Yeah.
And then the fifth season, they made them legal, didn't they? They became secret agents. The viewing figures went down the toilet for it because people liked the concepts of outlaw anti-heroes. That's the and that's why the same thing. It's like these people are good, but they're in this society. They are the outlaws, but they're doing the right thing.
Yeah. I mean, I gather that as I watched that, but as you say, obviously because it's an older show, there are a lot of more contemporary shows who've done the same thing.
Yeah,
but you wonder whether they've copied some of the aspects of one of these early shows, like Blake 7, and used it in their shows, which is quite interesting. I mean, was it very successful on the BBC? Was it a big hit?
Yeah, 15 million viewing audience, 20 million.
So why did it finish after season 4? Was it just because I've seen so far?
It's supposed to finish after season 3, bizarrely enough. So obviously Gareth Thomas leaving, which. No spoiler, really. I'm sure you know he did.
Yeah.
But he left, so that kind of sent the show on a swirly path for season 3. And at the end of season 3, it was supposed to end. That's why they blew the Liberator up, which again you already know.
Yeah, I knew that. Yeah.
But over the closing credits, like the producer had them announce, more Blake 7 next year. So then they had to go wrestling to try and make a 4th season when they'd literally blown up the biggest character of the show, the ship, the bit everybody loved. So. Yeah, then they went, and then one of the other characters again left at the end of the 3rd season, so her lines had to be rewritten to somebody else.
Okay,
and what have you? And which is quite funny. There is one particular episode we'll discuss when you've seen it that doesn't work simply because they changed who it was.
Okay, that's interesting. I mean, I suppose I ask this quite a lot with these older shows. Is it something which could be remade? Do you think it would work as a remake?
Yeah, I'd love to remake it.
It was in the works a few years ago, but the Sky pulled the financing.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It was in the works. There's something it was going to be made, and then it all got dropped.
I think I'd give a quick shout out. I'm sure I gave a link to you. There's a couple of fans.
Watched it.
Was it Louise Richardson and I forget the name of the bloke, but they wrote a sequel called Vindictus. And they've just written a second part to it, and they've made an audio of it, all non-profit and all that. Absolutely recommend any fan of the show to read it. There are aspects of it I don't like because they're things I don't like the idea that any of the crew survived. to be fair, and a couple of them, spoiler alert, doing this, but that's not going to give too much away.
That's all right.
But,
That's okay.
as far as any Blake Seven fan will absolutely enjoy this book and see it as the sequel. They will see it as a proper canon sequel to it. It's that well written. It's very good. Hats off to the two that did it.
I did like the other link you sent about like a prequel episode.
So that's Mark Harrison. He's long been trying to make a VR like a VR film. So you'll be like on the Liberator, being able to walk around it and view it and all that kind of stuff. So it's been doing it for years, but I think it comes down to money. But I only just found out that guy works in like his CV for shows he's worked on, and all that as a special effects guy. The guy's got quite a good pedigree behind him.
Sounds good, brilliant. Well, obviously, it certainly is an interesting show that is one that's bypassed me, but I thought I have enjoyed it, and by episode 3 or 4, and it settled down to the regular sort of crew. I thought, this is good, and now I'm kind of like, just bring on the next episode, which is probably a good sign. So I suppose what do we got? We've got a few minutes left, so I suppose is it time to rate the show out of 10 for you guys? I think it's going to be high. I know what you're going to, but I know what Martin's going to say. Martin's going to say 10. I reckon Malcolm's going to say 9.3. Well, okay, 10. Am I right? 10.
10.
You've never given a 10, Malcolm.
10. There are very, very few that I'll give a 10 for.
I never thought you would. I thought you'd give a lower because it's kind of like there's just. Are you going
to make this a hat trick?
No, not yet. I can't do that until I've seen it. I'll give it. I'll give it 8. I'll give it an 8 so far.
Okay.
I'll give it an 8 so far.
Would you have it in your collection? I have.
I think I will.
Yes. And I will do it 2 weeks when it's there on Blu-ray.
The new Blu-ray fucking enhanced ones on the way. Awesome.
Apparently, it's going to be both the original effects and enhanced effects. So, are you looking forward to the just enhanced without the enhanced effects, or do you want it to be the remastered one with the Liberator?
Going by the Doctor Who, they do it really well, but they just don't seem to be able to settle on anything like that. I think the 25th anniversary 5 Doctors of Doctor Who, I think they've redone the special.
They've done about 4 times now. Yeah, 4 times. Yeah. They keep doing it. The DVD was remastered, and then they did it again for another version, and they keep remastering it. It's like Star Wars, isn't it? They keep remastering it and changing it, and it gets to the point where you like, how much can you change from the original?
With this, all I'd say is the space scenes. They're going to have done like they did with Star Trek. They're going to do like new fancy CGI, and that will never ever be better than model work. Obviously it's too expensive to make these models now, but that's what. If you want to enhance it, do that. Go back, make models, and film it properly.
I think I heard that they are actually redoing model work for the effects for the new Black 7 season 1. I think there is some model. I think it's not just all CGI. I think there is some model work involved as well. So it might be a very good mix because obviously, it's very model-y looking. Where the Liberator does wobble a bit sometimes when it's flying along.
And sometimes it's just a 2D cartoon that they just
and it's just like make it zoom in kind of thing with it. Yeah. So I think some of that. I think to me,
what is quite funny is they originally made a large sort of pure white ship, and then the guy was asked to do a smaller one and all this, and he misunderstood the instructions, so he then painted that one with details, which is why you get one pure white Liberator and one that's got all this skilled detail on, and they switch between them. Because the guy just misunderstood the brief.
That's something I'll look out for as I continue to watch. Okay, Malcolm. All right, guys. Well, thank you very much for that. We'll make it a shorter one tonight. But Martin, have I come through for you? And you, Malcolm, have I done my duty today?
Yeah. No.
Proud of you, man.
No, I will carry on watching it. I have enjoyed it, and thank you guys for making me watch it because I don't know why. It's just one of those shows I never got around to watching, but I am glad I'm checking it out. So thank you very much. I think next week then I know we talked about it a lot, but one last proper full-blown review of Alien Romulus. Get everything out of our system. Malcolm's going to give some negativity.
I'll probably watch it again before then and just make some notes.
I'm going to watch it again.
There's plenty of positives in there. It's just there's some negatives.
Make a list and put plus and minus and put things like that's cool, that's bad, and we'll break it down and be really nerdy about it.
Yeah.
All right, Martin. Okay, Malcolm. Thank you very much, guys. We will see you for episode 202 next week already. Are you both free next week?
I'm working, but I think we've worked out that I can still pull it off while I'm at work.
Yeah, fantastic. Thank you very much, guys. Okay, we'll see you next time on the Solar One Sci-Fi Podcast. Live long and prosper.
Cool. May your path be free of happiness.
That's the one. Thank you.